Good morning, everybody. It's all over. Your magic internet money is going to go to zero. You might as well apply for your job at McDonald's this afternoon. That is what I am reading on X. Everybody's gone into a mass panic over absolutely nothing. What is wrong with people? Obviously, I put this stream together yesterday before everything went wrong while I was asleep. So we have a breaking news section and I'm going to tell you what's happened and I'm going to tell you not to worry because that's my job. I am the voice of reason and I'm not just going to tell you to not worry for the sake of it. There are reasons that this has happened and it's more of a shock to the system than anything else. So don't panic. If you've come here to see if I'm going to panic, I am not panicking. There's no reason to panic. We're going to go through the charts and we're going to have a little look. In fact, we're going to make that the headline of the day. Okay? There you go. Okay? That's the headline of the day. I'm even going to leave it left aligned because maybe we'll left align this cycle. Anyway, let's get into it. 191,000 almost followers. 27th of January, 11 a.m. Central European Time. We are live. This is not a voice recording. I still have the cough. Good morning, Mags, KB, Hidden Agendas. Mohammed is here. I tell you who was missing, Kishan. I haven't seen Kishan for a few days. I hope he's not got the lurgy. Everybody's got the lurgy. I think Tariq has the lurgy as well. I hope you all start to feel better soon. But we're going to get into it. We have a lot to talk about. We have an extra section. So what's happening with the markets? Bitcoin is coming in at $93,500, down 5% over the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down nearly at $3,100. XRP is down below $3. Solana has come crashing down, still at $226. BNB below 700. Lots and lots of losers. I don't even want to press this to show you what's lost, but we got to go through it. Jupiter is still up. Massive news about that coming up in the show. AIOZ network is up. DEX, a few small gainers. As you can see, though, the stable coins are down there. The losers, this is the bloodbath. The question you should be asking yourselves is not what crypto can do for you, what you can do for crypto today, and that is, what are some of these alts which may be worth buying? Okay, that's the way to look at these markets. Is there anything on the screen now that you think is going to have a super good bull run? For me, the standout there is Radium. Radium is a DEX on Solana. That's down a whopping 17%. That could be a good call. A few meme coins down there, a few layer 2s. Lots of people like SPX. I don't like it because shillfluencers shill it, so I don't really talk about it. Bonk is down. Render is down, virtuals are down, AI-related projects are down. That's what we're going to get onto when we talk about the first news article. So the markets are in absolute free fall. Maybe we have bottomed this morning. I have just made an OG video, which I put up about an hour and a half ago. I'm expecting somebody to come out in the next, well, probably in about 4 hours' time, 3.5 hours' time, before the market opens in America and try and allay people's fears. At the end of the day, guys, we are just below $100,000. We're at 99.3 for Bitcoin, okay? The S&P, I think, is down 300 points. It's been a jolt. We are going to cover that. But before we do, let's go and look at some X-Files and have a look at a couple of the things that happened over the weekend that weren't related to the crash. And again, let's just get into it. It's Monday morning. I don't see any need to panic. I don't see any need for you guys to worry. Don't panic. Right then, Weirmao will be speaking about Dupe on the main stage at 2 p.m. This was yesterday. Now, I've only brought this up. Okay, let's just bear this in mind. Jupiter is a DEX. Sorry, it's an aggregator on Solana. That's all it is. But they're building. I mean, look at the schedule for one day at their conference. It is incredible the amount of content that they went through in 2 days. Okay, it's absolutely incredible what these guys talked about. Now, The breaking news about Dupe is coming in the show, so I don't want to ruin it for you. If you'll see on the screen there, Dupe is listed. There's some massive news about Dupe, and my price prediction still hasn't changed, but I think it's now more accurate and more probable than maybe it was 2 weeks ago. So Virtuals, which is one of the coins that has dumped the most today, that is going on to Solana. Again, it's launching on Solana. It's launching on these various different dexes. Different liquidity pools are launching. They are granting tokens to help build. They are working with Jupiter and Layer Zero. Listen, Virtuals is here to stay. Irrespective of what's come out of China, do not worry about it. It's noise, and it can be very noisy. And if this is your first bull run, it's going to seem like it's the end of the world. It isn't the end of the world. It's not time. It's not time to panic. Okay, that tweet isn't there, but we are going to talk about DeepSeek in a minute, so we better get a move on because we have a lot to get through. We're going to have a look at some charts first, though, before we get there. It's a Monday, so we do a bit of a review of what's happening. And again, I don't have a crystal ball, but my lines that I draw, they look really, really good. Do they not? I drew this last Monday, okay? Drew this last Monday, and I said we could do with a bit of a retracement in the DXY. It's getting a little bit tasty, a little bit heaty up there. Got to 110, I believe, and I said we need to have a bit of a retracement. Now, I circled what I thought or what I hoped was the top, and that big, I don't even know what colour it is, bluey green arrow pointing to the downside. Obviously, I'm not expecting us to come all the way down there, but I think if we can get down to the bull market support band for it, which is 106-ish, it just takes the pressure off Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs a lot better when the DXY comes to the downside. The strength of the dollar starts to break down. That's when Bitcoin can have a bit of a run. Bitcoin has been running, especially in the last 4 or 5 months, it's been running into a headwind of the DXY. And the DXY has moved up dramatically. And I said last week we could do with this having a cool down. But remember, I don't predict, I just show you the chart and say, I think we need to come down. I don't think it's going to come all the way down here. It's probably going to come back down to where the bull market support band is. And that would be good. Listen, we don't want everything we ask for. Okay? We want a modicum of what we ask for. And that's the DXY to stop shooting up. And we've done that. Now, this is the Sol Bitcoin chart. I've got 2 of these to look at. I'm going to show you Ethereum, Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you Sol Bitcoin. This isn't supposed to be Sol Bitcoin yet. This is supposed to be Bitcoin dominance. So let me bring up Bitcoin dominance first, which is that one, I believe. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. It broke up. It whacked into 60%. It's come back down. It's come into this triangle. It's broken up again. Bitcoin dominance is starting its merry way to the upside. It's like a toddler. You've taken your eye off it for 1 minute and the toddler is halfway down the street with a stuffed toy and an ice cream trying to run into a load of oncoming traffic. That's what happens when you don't look at Bitcoin. Now, we are breaking back up towards 60%. The news that's come out of, the tariff wars, the trade wars, DeepSeek coming out, all of that is going to help Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the #1 crypto asset. So yes, Bitcoin is down 5%. So many other coins are down 10 or 15 or 20%. So let's not panic too much. This has been on the rise since it bottomed at the beginning of December. Now we're almost 2 months on from that, a month and a half on from that. And Bitcoin has just started to move up again. And it's broken out and it's moving to the upside. And again, there's nothing to stop it going to 60%. So Bitcoin dominance is breaking back up. Is that something I'm worried about? Not really. I still think we've got 10 months of the bull run left, so I don't care. People who are calling for a March or a May or even a February top. I don't think so. I think it will break down. I'm not saying that it's going to be absolutely November. I'm saying that Bitcoin dominance will break down at some point, and I think that's when the alt season will happen. How long the alt season is, how high the alt season goes, I don't know, but that's where we are. Now, this is the Sol Bitcoin chart. Unlike Solana, since the end of 2023, I would argue that Sol is in a pretty good range with Bitcoin. I mean, if you do that, for example, okay, we know how high Bitcoin has gone since the end of 2023. We know how good a 2024 it had. Yes, it spent 6 months correcting, and then we had a bit of a move up towards 106,000. Solana's just kept pace. You know, I did a quick tweet yesterday comparing Crow with BNB. Everybody's been slating Crow. Everybody's been praising BNB. If you go back to the June 2023 bottom, or even if you go back to January 2024, the price of BNB and the price of Crow have moved up pretty much at the same rate. But you don't notice it because Crow is 40th and BNB is 4th or 5th. Solana has slowly but surely been moving away up. But if you said to somebody, how well has Solana done last year compared to Bitcoin, the majority of you will have said Solana outperformed Bitcoin. Well, no, head to head, we're pretty much where we were at the end of 2023. And yes, we've moved up and we've moved down, but we're in this range, and now we're in the middle of this range. So Solana has just kept pace with Bitcoin. I mean, just to put that into context, let's have a look at where it is compared to Ethereum, because this is where you're going to see it. Listen, Ethereum's been hammered against Bitcoin, okay? It's been hammered. I mean, this is, if you asked me, if you showed me this chart and said, should I buy this coin? I'd be like, hell no, don't buy this coin, okay? It's been under the bull market support band since about 1906. It's been there since the last all-time high, and it's done nothing but crash down. But look at my beautiful yellow line. We're getting to where I think we will bounce, okay? And I drew this, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. Who knows when I drew this? But this is where I think we're going to bounce. And I'm not saying we're going to go up to 0.06, 0.09, 0.12, or anything like that. I'm just saying we're due a bounce. And this is about the period where we bounce. Why? Because Ethereum's Q1 and Q2 is better than Bitcoin's Q1 and Q2. The same way Bitcoin's Q3 and Q4 are better than Ethereum's. So Ethereum, for me, is due a bounce. Now, of course, all patterns work until they don't. And maybe this is the end of Ethereum. Maybe Vitalik, being the captain of the ship, he's going to lead it into an iceberg and it's going to sink. Maybe all of those things do come true. But look at World Liberty Finance. What's it doing? It's buying Ethereum-based coins. Look at BlackRock. It's building on Ethereum, okay? The money is on Ethereum. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to get rid of Vitalik. Vitalik could very well be got rid of. Think of it this way. We know what Trump's like. Trump is one of those people, and he'll turn around and say, I love Ethereum. Ethereum is great, but I don't like that Vitalik guy. He's a bit skinny. We need somebody better. And then the Americans will then put pressure on the Ethereum Foundation, and maybe they do put somebody else in charge. Do I have a target for Render? Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Bullish Bull. A target for Render. In my humble opinion, I would not buy any AI coin at this moment in time. And we'll get onto that in a minute. Not because I don't like them, but because we don't know where the bottom is going to be. If you hold Render, hold it. Hold it until the end of the year. This DeepSeek thing that's coming out, it's not the end of AI, okay? It's a new, allegedly cheaper, better version of what the American companies are building. So that's why there's so much shock. Render has partnerships. Render is a fairly sizable project. So is FET, ASI, so is Near Protocol, which has ties to NVIDIA. They're not bad projects. Projects don't become bad overnight, and they also don't become incredible investments overnight. Things can have hype, things can have FUD thrown against them, but I wouldn't be buying AI coins at this moment in time. Maybe not even today. We need to see what the market reaction is. Now, very quickly, before we show you what all the fuss is about, this is the liquidations over the last 24 hours. Remember, okay, clicked on that. Okay, there we go. Remember, this too shall pass, okay? What I mean by that is, we've been here before. Mags has been here before. Danny has been here before. KD, is it KD or KB? I can never get that right. Been here before. You've all been here before. You've been on this roller coaster. Now, if I took you to an amusement park, blindfolded, and put you on a roller coaster and lifted the blindfold off, that first time you go on that roller coaster, when you don't know where the dips are, and you don't know where the turns are, and you don't know where the panic is, and the G-force is coming from, it's scary. But you've all had this before. You've all seen what's happened before. You wake up and you see the markets like this morning. The first thing that you should think of is what news has broke that's caused this. The second thing, when you've read the news, you should say to yourself, has this fundamentally changed crypto? Okay? They should be the first two things that come to mind. Now, if the stock market looks like it's tanking, it's a macro event. It's not a crypto-related event. A crypto-related event, for me, would be something like the Bitcoin blockchain being compromised, the Ethereum blockchain being compromised. That is a crypto-related black swan event. This isn't a black swan event. This is the release of an AI project. So you look at the markets, you see $860 million wiped off, the majority of them are longs. What should you never do? Don't use leverage. Don't long and don't short. And if you do it with a fraction of your portfolio. You do it on very low leverage, 5x, the worst at 10x, don't 25x anything. I know some of you do. I know some of you are very good at it, but the majority of people listening, I have a responsibility to tell them, don't leverage. And if you want to play and have a bit of fun, you can get 3L and 3S and 5L and 5S tokens. And they're tokens you can buy on the exchange. So you could buy BTC 5L, BTC 3S, and they're coins that reflect a 3x or a 5x leverage. Go and do that for a bit of fun, but don't throw the crown jewels at this. So the markets have been crushed. In fact, about 93% of the markets have been crushed. Longs have been crushed. Now, this is the reason. And we're not going to spend too long on this, okay? Remember, don't panic. Just don't panic. DeepSeek into the unknown. Now, what is this? This is a Chinese AI ChatGPT solution, which is better than ChatGPT. They claim it is cheaper, but scratch the surface. Just a little bit, scratch the surface. That's what I would tell you to do. Why? DeepSeek claims to be a project that cost $5 or $10 million to build. Now, NVIDIA, in its own reports, have been talking about Singapore, and I think it's 30, 40 or 50,000 NVIDIA chips, whatever they're called, being bought in Singapore. And then it says very clearly in the report that they've been sent to Singapore, but they don't believe that Singapore is the final destination. So what they're telling you is that those chips have gone through Singapore to China. That's what they're telling you. So this talk of it costing $10 million to build DeepSeek is wrong, number one. It's not a cheaper solution to the point that they're making out, okay? It probably is a cheaper solution. And what that does is it makes people think that the Microsofts, the Metas, the Googles, the AI projects are massively, massively overvalued. We saw Trump initiate a $500 billion investment into AI. Now that's going into healthcare, identifying cancer. Does the product launch of DeepSeek affect any of that? In my opinion, no. Does it temper the valuations on the Microsofts and the Googles? Yes, of course it does. But it doesn't change the fundamental fact that, let's say for 1 minute, this is a better solution. What's to stop some of the AI projects starting to use DeepSeek? Because it's open source. There isn't anything to stop them. So maybe these AI projects suddenly become better. Well, if they're better than they were a week ago, doesn't that mean that their valuation should hold or even go up in time? But again, this is a shock to the system, and it's caused a shock to the markets, one of which I think will recover. I don't believe for 1 second that this news and this product is going to fundamentally change the stock market in America and the crypto market. It's not that big a news. It's a shock. And when you scratch the surface, you realize that some of the numbers don't add up. And if the numbers don't add up, that throws doubt over this project. And if it throws doubt over the project that we've just heard about, it should give you some surety in the projects that you do know about. And that's the way I play this. This is going to pass. It's all FUD. It's all uncertainty. It's all doubt. But again, at the end of the day, this isn't going to cause us to spiral to $70,000. In my opinion, it's not going to cause us to spiral to $70,000. We might not get back above $100,000 for a week. We've also got the FOMC news coming up. I think that's in a week or so's time. So that could keep us down here. We could go lower. I've got the Bitcoin chart to look at in a minute. But again, it's DeepSeek. It's caused this. The other thing which has caused the markets to correct as well is, of course, Colombia and Donald Trump's at war, if you want to say that, with Colombia. Why? Because of the deportation of some people that were in America that they're sending back to Colombia. So there's trade wars going on with Colombia. There's trade wars going on with Mexico. Is that new? No, it's not. It's not new news. We knew this was going to happen. He told you in the election it was going to happen. So if somebody tells you they're going to punch you on the nose, and they tell you every month for 6 months that they're going to punch you on the nose, and then they punch you on the nose, is it a surprise? Absolutely not. So that, for me, has been priced in. And again, it's short term. He uses the threat of the tariffs, the threat of the taxes. He uses it as a threat, okay? It's a great big stick to hit people with. And he's very good at it, whatever you say. So don't panic. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Again, if you are new here, leave a comment in chat, say hello, let me know you are watching. And again, don't panic. Right then, we'll have a very quick look at this. Now, this article, I think, was written before the news of DeepSeek. We might see a corrective dip before new highs. Now, we won't spend too long on this because we're going to look at the chart, and I don't know what time it is to make sure we don't run out of time. There's always going to be corrections in any bull run. We never go up in a straight line. We all know that by now. I'm preaching this to the converted. We always know there's going to be dips. And the dips happen when we breach or approach all-time highs and we get rejected, we come down. Get rejected, we come down. Then we get liquidity and we go back up. It's like trying to jump over a brick wall. The easiest way to do it is take some steps back and then run at the brick wall. Never a good idea to stand in front of an 8-foot brick wall and try and climb it. Even dogs have a good run at a brick wall to try and get over it. So again, we are seeing some, before the news of DeepSeek came out, we did see a little bit of weakness in Bitcoin. We did see us come down. I don't know whether the 70 and 80,000 calls are fair. Probably clickbait. But the demand zone is between 95 and 97. Now, we're not going to spend too long on that chart. I've just seen what the time is, so we're going to move on. And we're going to have a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. Now, I took a lot of lines off the Bitcoin chart last week, and I put them back on because I want you to see graphically where we are. Again, reinforce the point. If you zoom out, which you hear a lot of people say, and you go back to the start of last year, we were at 41,000. Okay? In January. 41,000. We're at 99,000 today. Okay? What did we do? We, as we always talk about, go up the steps. And Bitcoin is very good at administering that. Now, if we zoom in a little bit to these lines, yes, there's 4 lines, and yes, they look very, very complicated. This is simply to show you where the bull market support band is. This is 86,500. If we come down, this is where I think we go. I think we go to 86,000 if we come down. But also look at where we are. So when we make this a little bit wider, from November until now, we've been in this range that we've talked about. Okay, where we've gone up, we've done this, and we've done this. Okay, we're in this range. We've not left it. Yesterday, oh no, sorry, not on yesterday. Saturday, I put up a comment that said we're between a range of 101 and 106. That was the range we were in. Okay, and I said that without looking at the charts. We're actually in a range of 92 to 106. That's the actual range. And this line here is about 98,500. So my bottom was off a little bit. But again, the news has shocked us down to this level, and we've come down 3%. 3% is not a lot. Should Bitcoin be affected by DeepSeek? No. So it's a sell-off. It's a risk-off event. People are taking money off the table because of a global event, which means you have an opportunity to buy in at a better price. Now, today we could, if it goes south this afternoon, we could see this kind of wick. That would take us to about 89,500. That could be where we move today. It's $10,000 down, yes. But let's see what happens when the markets open in America. We've got 3-4 hours before the markets open in America, okay? Let's see what happens. The key for me is the 86,500, okay? Because let's say we lose 86,500, then it's quite a long way down. We're talking down here at the $70,000 range, which is what the fearmongers are talking about. I think we've got a lot to go to get to that. I don't think it's going to happen. 86.5 would be the bottom, and then above the 86.5 we've got 92. I think they're the bottoms if we do come down. And remember here, this is where I was talking about the correction, the January correction. I said would happen the middle to third week of January. That's when it's happened in the past. Even I think every year, January 24, 23, we also had these corrections. And that, for me, was the correction. So I don't see another one, if we want some bullish news, I don't see another one going down that low. But it can happen, of course it can happen. But we're sitting at 99,000. I think anything else that comes out that spooks the market will bring us down to 92. But at 92,000, you should be looking at hopefully taking another position in Bitcoin. If you are buying into Bitcoin, if you buy at 92,000 today and we go back to 106,000 in a few weeks' time, you've made 15% in a couple of weeks. Okay, it's a pretty good return. If we do break down and we go to 86,000, again, if you buy at that price and we go back up to all-time highs, you've made 25%. So this should be seen as a sale, as a buying opportunity. But I'm not worried about Bitcoin. I'm not worried about the price of Bitcoin. The RSI is also reasonable. The leverage is now out of the market. We've taken out all the longs. What tends to happen after we take out all the longs? Everybody thinks we go down. Everybody shorts. What happens then? We have a short squeeze. So it's not the end of the world. We could bounce here today. We could bounce here today, and we could go in that direction. And if we do come down, whichever way we look at it, it's going to do one of these things, okay? It's not the end of the bull run. As I said in my video that I've made today for the OGs, there's too much bullish news coming out this year for this to be end of the bull run. Whether it be the new ETFs, whether it be the cut in the interest rates, whether it be the timing of the market cycle, we still got the earliest we're going to have a top is May. And that's what a lot of people have been calling for. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are still on for November. Don't panic. Don't panic. If it's the first time here, have a few deep breaths. If we close the day below 99.4, then we should see a rebalance down to 92. Yeah, I mean, we could come down to 92. That's where my that's where my next line is there, 92. And that's where we've bounced. Again, we look at these lines here. I mean, there's a lot of times we've come back off this line. And again, if we do, we do. And if we break into another zone, we break into another zone. We've got plenty of time, absolutely plenty of time. And like I said, we've got Trump now. We don't have Biden. We've got PTSD from Biden. Biden did not react to the markets. Biden didn't react to anything. He didn't react to people waving at him. We've got Trump now. Trump's going to come out and defend the S&P today. And he's going to come out and defend it because he doesn't want to see China flooding the markets. Now, he could ban that app today. An executive order banning the app, okay? There's lots of things he can do. There's lots of things he can do. Let's not worry about it. I'm not worried at all at this stage of the market. I'd be worried if we were doing this in October. I'm not worried now. Move on, then let's get through some other stuff. Why do we always have these things here? So, the Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency exploring blockchain use case. Now, he's called it Doge. He's put a picture of his Doge logo, or the Doge logo on the front. It's not an official department. Remember, they've got to do something in America to make it law. Nobody cares about that. He's trying to save waste. They've already saved $153 million. Don't forget, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 50 cents per person in America legally, and that's in the first few days. So if they start saving $100, $200, $300 per person in America, they're saving billions and billions of dollars. So let's not knock them until they've made the moves. They're looking at introducing blockchain tech into the American government. Now, this is obviously massively bullish for the blockchains that are being used. And some people are talking about Cardano, especially Charles, being used. Other people are talking about Solana. Other people are talking about Ethereum being used. I don't know which one. I don't know whether there's going to be a couple of them used. Maybe they are. Maybe there's going to be a few different blockchains. A Ripple could be introduced for cross-border payments. It could be a combination of blockchains being introduced. And again, it will reduce the costs. What's happening in America is the government over there is incredibly bloated, as it is in many countries. I don't know what it is, but it's a ridiculous amount of people in America that work in the IRS. And there's a ridiculous number of people in their civil service. So I think they're trying to reduce the costs. What you've got to look at with this is, okay, let's say that they use Cardano and only use Cardano. Why is that bullish for Cardano? It's the biggest government in the world using Cardano as proof of concept. It's the first real stress test of Cardano. If Cardano was used and, the tax returns, the health records, the educational records were all moved onto Cardano, it would be, forget the cost of the ADA token or the value of the ADA token. It would be the first real case, massive real case use of a blockchain in a government, and especially the size of America. Now, for me, that's bullish for the entire crypto industry and, of course, Cardano, if it was used. It would also be massively bullish for the price of ADA and XRP and everything else that's involved. So this is bullish for crypto, irrespective of which blockchain is used. They might turn around and use AVAX. They might turn around and use a chain that we just didn't expect. They might use Doge. We don't know. The point of the matter is that they're going to start working on blockchain implementation. Once it works for America, it will become a cookie cutter for other countries to do the same. Why? Because if you are Barbados or you are a smaller country with 5 or 10 million inhabitants, and you've got Cardano that's been used by America with 350 million people, plus the complex systems, and you can implement the same system in your country for 10 million or $1 million, it's going to save you a fortune, and it's been proved, okay? You've also seen the other way around, where XRP and Cardano are being used in Africa and places to try and show proof of concept. This is going the other way around. This is taking the biggest elephant in the room, tackling that first, and that means everything that follows just becomes so much easier. So this is great for blockchain. We've got to be careful, though, that we don't allow the likes of Ripple to dominate the conversation. We know Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple are trying to guide the American government to create a crypto reserve portfolio, asset reserve portfolio. And we know the Bitcoin maxis are pushing for a Bitcoin reserve, national reserve. Now me, I'd have both. I'd have a Bitcoin reserve, which is solely based as an inflation hedge. And then don't forget, you know, the strategic reserve in America, it's got loads of things in it. It's got cotton, it's got oil, it's got gas. Why not have Ethereum and Solana? They're assets that hold value. So yes, I include them, but I wouldn't include it in the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Bitcoin is a store of value. It's an inflation hedge. It's there to solve this very problem. And I don't know whether XRP and Cardano and Solana are quite there for that. I would have them more as a side dish. You know, they're a plate of chips, whereas Bitcoin is the steak. You eat the steak first. If you've got any room, you have a chip. So they're going to introduce this. This is all great news. Doge is going to try and introduce it. My question is, are they going to be able to do it in 4 years? It sounds a lot of time to you and I, but we're talking about the American government with all its moving parts. Are they going to be able to introduce a blockchain-based system between now and February 2029? I don't know, is the answer. It's a tough call. Now then, World Liberty Finance. I made a video about this over the weekend. I took a deep dive into the portfolio of World Liberty Finance, and I will tell you a very interesting point. Nearly every token in World Liberty Finance is Ethereum based, including Bitcoin. The wrapped Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the Aave, the tokens are all Ethereum based except for one, and that one coin that isn't Ethereum based is TRX, Tron. And why do they have Tron in their portfolio? Because Justin Sun gave them a $30 million donation. That's what I think. And I think they bought, or they've got some of his token just to show that he is, it's paid for advertising is basically what I'm getting at. Justin Sun's paid $30 million, said stick a bit of Tron into your World Liberty Finance portfolio, and it's great advertising for my chain. They've got nearly $400 million. Most of it is in Ethereum. Look at what they're doing. They are pumping the likes of Trump. They're pumping the likes of Solana coins. And they're then going and buying Ethereum. So they know where the money is. So Trump has, it's run by his family. It's not run by Trump himself, but it's run under the name. They are going out and we're not going to look at that too much. So the project recently joined the top 0.1% of all Ethereum stakers with its ETH accumulation. On the day of its inauguration, as I said in the video that I've made, they bought $47 million worth of ETH and wrapped Bitcoin, and then $4.7 million of other projects. Chainlink was the biggest one that stood out to me, and Aave. And then, of course, they bought Tron, which is the anomaly. This is going to grow over time. they are going to buy more and more tokens. Why Ethereum? Ethereum generates a yield. Okay, Ethereum has the best DeFi, the most liquidity of all chains. It still has. Solana isn't close as far as that's concerned. It is close when it comes to trading and volume, but it's not when it comes to liquidity. Now, in the video, I pointed out two things. Trump, the Trump administration, World Liberty Finance, and BlackRock all chose Ethereum. So do not believe people when they tell you Ethereum is dead. 200,000 Ethereum wallets were created in the last 3 days. The price might be down at this moment in time. Ethereum is going to have its time, okay? I don't care what the price action is now. I'm not an ETH maxi, but it's clearly going to go up. You know, in 3 months' time, we're going to sit here. It's going to be over $4,000. Okay, that's just the way it is. And that's a big move in that time frame for that coin. We're at $3,100. We've been trading about $3,300 to $3,400. We're only a 15% move away from $4,000. It's not a big move. The money is going to Ethereum. They are telling you what they are doing. Okay? We've talked about this. Traditional finance works a lot slower than crypto. Crypto, it happens in the space of hours and days. Traditional finance works in weeks and months. They're telling you they're going to Ethereum. BlackRock is telling you they're going to Ethereum. That's going to be their base. Then, from Ethereum, they will move out to Solana. But their base will be Ethereum. Why trust Solana when it goes down? If you're BlackRock, where are you going to build your 24/7, 365 tokenization system? Give me one chain right now that competes with Ethereum for what BlackRock are trying to do. There isn't one. It has no competitor. That doesn't mean that it's not going to appear on Solana. Look at Virtuals. Virtuals is now moving to Solana. Other things, Ondo, or is it Biddled, or whatever it's called, they've moved their US Dcoin, and that's now available on Solana. So I'm not saying that it's one and done. I'm saying it's going to be their base of operations, and that is where they're going to make their attack on the crypto market from. Ethereum, don't underestimate it. Don't underestimate what value Ethereum has, and it's got the traditional finance behind it. No matter what you see online of people telling you, I was here when people were talking about Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. That narrative died because it was never going to happen. And now the narrative is Solana or even Sui is going to flip Ethereum. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Every time we see a challenger to the step above, it fails. I don't think Ethereum is ever going to catch Bitcoin. I don't think Solana is ever going to catch Ethereum. But it doesn't mean the market caps of each aren't going to grow substantially. And it will get to the point where Bitcoin becomes such a big asset that it doesn't appreciate in value too much. But Ethereum's going to get to that point, and Solana's going to get to that point. It's going to find a natural level. But I don't think Ethereum's natural level is below that of Solana's. Now then, this is the debate that's been... Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're a developer, and you know if I highlight some text, why would you make it white on a gold background? Why would you do that? It's absolutely insanity. Right, very quickly, let me just remind you. Good morning, Gareth. My hope is that H-bar doesn't drop below 0.24 or I'll be wiped off my first cycle. I'm worried. Gareth, don't worry, okay? If it's your first cycle, don't leverage. Don't leverage trade. It's a bad idea. Buy H-bar and sit on it. It's going to go up. Also, if it's your first cycle, think about my analogy that I used at the start, which is very simple. If I put you on a roller coaster, I blindfold you, and I put you on a roller coaster and took the blindfold off, and you didn't know what the roller coaster was going to do, you'd absolutely crap yourself. You don't know where the dips are, the turns are. You don't know what's going on. And by the end of that, you will know what goes on that roller coaster. Crypto is the same. By the second cycle, you're going to sit there and you're going to know that these things should not affect you. Good morning, Eugene. I hope you are well. Yeah, but if this is your first cycle, please don't use leverage. And if you do, as I said before, use the leverage coins that the exchanges have got on them: the 3S, the 3L, the 5S, the 5L. I'll give you an example. I use the 5L and 5S because I don't want to leverage trade, but I do think Bitcoin will go up a little bit, so I buy a 5L, or I think it'll go down, I'll buy a 5S, and then you don't get wiped out. You don't have to worry about a liquidation price. I don't care if the return's not the same. It doesn't bother me. Should Ripple be part of the asset reserve? Let me know in chat. I want to know who's awake today. Let me know in chat what asset should be in the Bitcoin reserve. Should it be Bitcoin or should it be others? Just type Bitcoin or others. Let's see who's awake. Donald Trump splashed the crypto waters early this week when he signed the executive order focused on digital assets to be included in the reserve. It's not officially approved yet. The decision has sparked substantial debates. Basically, he called it a strategic crypto reserve. He did not call it a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And that is where the problem has arrived from. You see people saying that Sol, XRP, and ADA are going to be included. Okay, why not BNB? BNB is now included in, is it Boutain's strategic reserve, somebody's strategic reserve? I don't think they should. Brad Garlinghouse, the Ripple CEO, refuted the accusations, saying their efforts are actually increasing the likelihood of a crypto strategic reserve, which includes Bitcoin, happening. The biggest obstacle for the strategic Bitcoin reserve is not the Fed, it's or not Treasury or Elizabeth Warren, it's Ripple. Unless you are choosing to ignore the core tenets of the POTUS campaign, our efforts are increasing the likelihood of the crypto strategic reserve, which includes Bitcoin, happening. Look at what he said there. Look at what he said. This guy said here, Pierre Rochard, okay? He clearly said strategic Bitcoin reserve. The biggest threat to a strategic Bitcoin reserve is not Elizabeth Warren or the Fed. It is Brad Garlinghouse. That's what he said. To which Brad replied, we are actively trying to increase the odds of a crypto strategic reserve, which includes Bitcoin. Can you see what he did? Okay. We don't want XRP in the strategic reserve. We want Bitcoin. Why would we want to include assets that don't necessarily increase in value over time? Why would we want to include assets such as XRP? XRP's job is not to be an inflation hedge. Solana is not meant to be an inflation hedge. Ethereum is not meant to be an inflation hedge, although Ethereum could be designed to be an inflation hedge because it can be designed based on fees to become deflationary. Then you could, in theory, put a hard max supply in place, let's say 120 million, and then in my opinion, Ethereum could in the future become a strategic reserve asset, but not right now. So Brad clearly is pushing for XRP to be included. I mean, seriously, are we not seeing what is being said here? Just Bitcoin, yeah. Ripple should not. They are pro-digital monetary system. Exactly. At the end of the day, if XRP came along and looked after small nation states, CBDCs, helped with cross-border payments, helped with reducing the cost to governments around the world, helping the banking system move into the Web3 spaces, then yeah, that's their job. Okay, but no. Okay, we don't want it in there, and there are a lot of people kicking off about it. I've watched a couple of videos online about it. Bitcoin is the exception. I can't read that out. Again, there's no competitors to Bitcoin. For me, you want to hold the asset. It's like, you know, people say, oh, well, you know, there's silver and then there's platinum, and that's held alongside gold. If you look at the strategic reserve of precious metals, it's gold, okay? It was called the gold standard for a reason. It wasn't called the gold, silver, and platinum standard. It's called the gold standard. The same way that this is the Bitcoin standard. It's not the crypto asset standard, okay? XRP is a privately owned enterprise. Why on earth are we thinking about including it in a strategic reserve? It makes no sense at all. Right then, now don't laugh, all the people out there crying about the market correction today. Solana eyes $500. Grayscale's ETF move sparks bullish momentum. Now, the Oracle streamed on Friday night, and I believe the Oracle is streaming tonight. We have a trading stream or a market TA stream, whatever you want to call it. And it's normally Monday and Thursday or Monday and Friday. The Oracle is streaming tonight. And on Friday, he gave a price target for Solana of over $400. My price target is about $313. That's near term, not end of bull run. There's a few reasons he's picked this out based on his TA. I've picked $313 because I think psychologically it will break 300 and then go just above. So $313, I think there's a line on one of my charts somewhere that says that. Now, this is going to kick you and me in the nuts, okay? What happened with Grayscale when the Bitcoin ETF was live? Grayscale kicked us in the nuts. What happened when the Ethereum ETF went live? Grayscale kicked us in the nuts. You've seen the meme of the guy, the karate guy standing there with somebody kicking him in the nuts, okay? You are that man being kicked in the nuts. When this happens and Grayscale gets its conversion into an ETF and BlackRock gets its ETF, Solar ETF, and Van Eck, and they all get their ETFs, the day it goes live, Grayscale is going to dump us. They will dump us. I've said this in one of my videos last year. It's not about it's not about if we get the Solana ETF, it's when we get it. If we get the Solana ETF in March or February this year, we've got time to absorb the Grayscale dump. If we get the Solana ETF in September, it is going to wreck the Solana price at the end of this bull run. It will. And there's no way around it, because it doesn't sound like a lot. 134 million doesn't sound like a lot, but it didn't sound like a lot of Ethereum. It was a lot of Bitcoin, yes. It wasn't that much Ethereum, and this doesn't sound like a lot of Solana, but it's going to absolutely kick us in the nuts. It really will, because they're going to dump over a period of maybe 3 months. It's not good. So they are looking to launch the Solana ETF. It seeks to convert it. Remember, Grayscale has trusts. It had Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. It's got a chain link. It's got an XRP. It's got lots of trusts. It's just a way of getting around the ETF problem. And of course, what that means is that you buy shares of those trusts directly with Grayscale or through your broker. They're going to convert it to the ETF. That's when the problem arises, because you might be buying this fund at a discount or a premium. We talked last year about the Solana Trust was trading at about $255, and at the time Solana was at $160, $170, and I was saying it's trading at a premium. Now, move forward, we are at $250. So we got to the price that other people thought it was going to be at, and maybe we get to $300, $350, whatever it might be, before this goes live, and this is going to dump. It's going to dump us, and that's going to be the kick in the nuts. So this is all going to happen. When is the question? When are we going to get these ETFs? Okay, Solana is in a good position. We showed you the Bitcoin Solana chart. Bitcoin and Solana have kept up with each other all year. Solana is a good one. I think $600 is my, I wouldn't say conservative, but my target for the end of the year. I think $1,000 would be a super mega bullish Fed slashing interest rates, Trump pumping the economy, money flying in. Remember, we don't have a lot of money coming into the economy just yet. That will fuel the bull run. Again, Donald's ducks lining up. For me, Solana is still a solid coin to hold. If we were sitting here, I think this is the target that Brogan set, around that target he set on Friday. I think that is longer term, end of the bull run maybe. So again, Solana, if you're looking to get into coins right now, if you're looking to get into cheap entries into the market, this is the perfect day to get in. This is the perfect time to get in. Let's say we go to 92,000 on Bitcoin today, or 93,000 this week. Solana could probably break $200, maybe go to 180. If we go to 180, great price to buy Solana. If XRP goes anywhere near 230, 220, great XRP price. BNB, slow mover, is probably going to break $600. These are good prices. Look at Cardano. It was a stable coin on Saturday. It was at $1. Even made a joke about it. It's 87 cents. That might come down to 70, 75 cents. So watch the market. Watch the Bitcoin price. If Bitcoin comes down 5%, everything's going to drop 10%, 15%. We might come down an awful lot further when America opens. When Americans wake up, they might wake up and choose to sell. So just watch the market, okay? But Chainlink as well. Chainlink might break $20. These are good prices to get in at. You know, 3-4 days ago, when we were at $106,000, if I said to somebody in chat, would you like to buy $98,000 Bitcoin off me? They'd probably snap my hand off. XRP, I'll sell it you for $2.30, $2.20. Snap my hand off. Solana below $200 when it was at $250, $260. Snap your hand off. So it's not a case of, oh, the markets got overheated and the price of these tokens is overheated and now they've corrected to the correct price. People say that all the time. People tell you that a $98,000 Bitcoin is overpriced, or $100,000 Bitcoin is overpriced. No, it isn't. Not at this stage of the cycle. My top is 150. It's not a long way from here, correct, but we're in the last leg. So of course it's not going to be too far away, but don't panic. Will we see $500 Solana? Yes, we will. Will we see it tomorrow? No, we will not. And again, if you watch videos about crypto price targets, make sure you check the date on the video. You know, I'm not one to like the shillfluencers, but if you watch a video from Ben Cowan from 3 years ago, and he's talking about a $30,000 Bitcoin going to a $50,000 Bitcoin, give him a break. It was 3 years ago. Lots of things happened. Watch up-to-date price predictions from people that aren't stupid, okay? There's some examples which I've mentioned on here before. They told you Solana would be $1,000 by the end of last year. We didn't get there. They're telling you now that Solana is going to go to $2,500, $3,500 in this bull run. We're never going to get there. I made a video about ET and don't eat them M&Ms. Don't be fed M&Ms to lead you to something that's never going to happen. Now then, this is the last news article that I wanted to bring up. As you are all aware, I'm a big fan of Jupiter. It's an aggregator. So what does that mean? Is it takes the best price from all of the different decentralized exchanges and gives you the best price. That's all it does. Very simple. But they've built an ecosystem. Now, 3 things happened over the weekend that you need to be aware of. They burned 30% of their supply. There is no longer 10 billion tokens, there are 7. Point number 1. Point number 2, they are taking 50% of their profits, 50% of their profits in fees, and using it to buy back dupe and send it to the trash can. 50%, not 10, not 5. Now, if you followed us before, we've looked at WolfSwap. WolfSwap do the same thing. They take 50% of their fees and they buy back Moon to create a buy pressure on the token. So it's not, you know, it's not revolutionary, is what I'm saying about Jupiter, but it is something that long term is going to create a price increase. Now, they've also The third thing, they've also, is it going to mention it in here? They've also become, or going to become, an omni-chain. And what that means is, through your DupeNet account, you will be able to buy the majority of coins, irrespective of what chain they are on, through DupeNet. So you'll be able to buy coins from Polygon, AVAX, somewhere else on Ethereum, obviously Solana. Anything happens on Cardano or XRP or any of the chains, you'll be able to buy those coins. Base is another example. You'll be able to buy those coins through Jupiter. They're becoming an omni-chain. And that, for me, is massively bullish. They already had the potential to become a unicorn, okay? They are on that path to become a unicorn because they have the money behind them, they have the volume, they will go head-to-head with everybody else on every other chain, and because of the size of them, they're more than likely going to win. They will beat everybody else. But they're an aggregator. So if you're a DEX on Base or on Polygon, you will actually be used by Jupiter to buy those tokens. So it's not cannibalizing the market. It's actually opening the market up for all of these DEXs to profit. And that, for me, is a positive. It's a positive thing. Now, as far as the price action goes of Dupe, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring up Trading View. Let's have a look. Of Dupe. And again, if you've not claimed your Dupe, they did another claim last week. Make sure to go and claim that. Send it to the exchange you're watching on now, or us on now. Wait for this to blow over, and then maybe look to sell your Dupe when the price reappreciates. Now, I'm going to show you this chart, if it works. Let's get rid of that now. We don't need that open. Very quickly, let's have a look. Ripple should not. Yes, I know. Let's have a look at this. Right, Dupe. Okay, so Dupe. Now, I've got 2 bags of Dupe. One which is staked, and one which is not staked. I clicked on the wrong one. So help me. Okay. It doesn't matter. Right, okay. Now, the price action of Dupe, before we had this issue today, we went all the way up here. Did that actually draw then? There we go. Okay. Try again. We got up here, which touched about 126. We're down to 97 cents. So we are still up. Dupe, for me, is undervalued. Okay? It's undervalued. But at some point, it can become, of course, overvalued. Now, my sell on Dupe is about 150, but for the sake of arguments, about 140, because there's a line there, okay? I'm not going to sell the majority of my Dupe. I'm going to sell the airdrop that I got on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it was, right? Which equates to about, I don't know what is it, about 20% of your staked amount, something like that, okay? Now, I'm not going to sell it because I don't like Dupe. I'm going to sell it because I think we will go up, then we will correct, and then we will have our end of season alt run. So what I see happening, very similar to this, in fact, I think that would have happened again. So I will sell I will sell my Dupe on the next bit of good news up here, and then I will sit on the cash and wait for it to come back down here and then buy back in again. And then I will be buying 50% more Dupe than I have in that pot. So Dupe for me, this is the bottom price, 97 cents. We're sitting at the bull market support band right now. Let's see what the market holds today. Let's see if we can hold 92,000. Again, we've had the shock, but the markets weren't open. So let's see where we go this afternoon. We are coming down a bit now. What are we down to now? 98,000. We broke 98,000. No, we've had a bit of a bounce. Right. Don't panic. If you've got cash on the side, wait and see what happens today. Let's see if we crash. Let's see, like KB said, if we get to 92, I think we've got 92,300. That's where I expect us to bounce if we do crash. We may wick back up over 100,000, be back at 102,000 tomorrow, and everyone will be like, well, what was all that about? Let's just wait and see for the rest of the day. But I am going to go. You have been legends. It is, what time is it now? It is 12:05. Time for me to go. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll see if the Oracle is streaming tonight. And on Wednesday night, we have a special. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow when there's more people on. Take care.